Okay, so in this video I will be taking you through Blue Apron, showing you specifically 3 recipes, getting into the cooking and showing you the preparation and some of the aspects of what Blue Apron involves. I'll start off here with my recorded comments as I did the unboxing of the stuff I received in the mail. Okay, so we can take a look at the second here of the home delivery food services we are looking at. This one is from Blue Apron, and I just got the box, the front door. And you know, with the food delivery systems, you note that these boxes can be pretty heavy. This one's well over 15 pounds. One of the interesting things that Blue Apron does is focus a little bit. I'll talk about this in some other commentary. They focus on, I guess, the ethical side of things. You know, it's certainly part of, we'll zoom in a little bit here. It is part of the worldview, if you will, of many people. And so this is talking about building a better food system, one recipe at a time. And we'll have to look at this, but they have a vision statement that they mention as well. So this is one of the things that you note with some of the value statements, if you will, and ethical propositions, ecological propositions that we tend to note, I think, with some of the home delivery cooking services. So this is, you know, compared to our last one, I looked at, I guess, a little more elaborate box in terms of just the design. And actually, this is an opportunity, since we have it available. Excuse my rather awkward panning of the camera, but you can see here a focus on responsible ranching and farming. Our meat has no added hormones, no antibiotics, ingredients without GMOs, and then I'm sure the next flap, let's shift the box over a little bit, we'll have the same thing about the vision. So we have regenerative farming practices. We support agricultural practices that build healthy soil, replenish our land, sustainably sourced seafood, recommended by Seafood Watch, which is very famous for looking out for the marine life and the farming practices and so forth. There's been so much in the news in the last 5 years or so about farm-raised fish and so forth. And so this is, when you begin to think about food delivery services, you know, anymore, like any company out there, it's not just about delivering the product for the consumer, for the guest, as we say in the themed and immersive space industry. It's about thinking about some of these lifestyle issues, the politics of your eater and so forth. And so there's a lot of, you know, demographic thought that goes into creating, obviously, a brand, creating the products and so forth. So I have to say, just overall, we can zoom out once more if we can. I guess I can't anymore, but you know, I was just going to say that the overall presentation here of the package with the flaps here, the 3 flaps, I think it's just really well done. I mean, I have to say, from a design standpoint, this box, and I know you're not necessarily thinking about eating home delivered menu items because of the box, but it's one of the things I look at because I study brands and I study products and services, so forth, and consumer society. So very impressive, and I know that may not be your thing if you're looking for home recipes and so forth, a system like this. Very similar to our last one as far as Home Chef, right? You have the recipe cards. These don't have the binder holes. You could, of course, put them in a binder, but one of the things you get with Home Chef is the 3-ring binder included with your first shipment, and then as the recipe cards are shipped, you get to put them in, I guess. And very similar design. You know, these have a similar look to them. As you can see, the different ingredients listed on the front, very nice, colorful photos, and then on the back, all the steps. And I can't imagine, this is the second of many services that I'm trying out, but I can't imagine that there's going to be a lot of difference in this. One of the keys to any of these services is to say you can do this at home on your own, even if you're not a great cook. So you're going to have simplicity, right? You're not going to have a 10-page manual. Everything is very colorful, and then you have the easy steps and so forth. And many of these have a time notation on them. There's an app here, we'll have to look at that, but yeah, this one here says, for example, your prep time of 15 minutes, your cooking time of 25 to 35 minutes. So that's something that is key with these services for a lot of people who are busy and who don't have the time necessarily to cook a homemade meal, or want a homemade meal but don't want to spend the time researching it, creating it, buying the ingredients, and then creating it. You'll notice a lot of the services also have wines that they offer for pairings. Haven't tried that, but that's available. So recipe cards, information here, exclusive discount. So we'll have to see how this works. I don't know if this is for the wine service or if this is for more food, but I can scratch that off and see what I get. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Okay, so this is an actual, looks like a newsletter. This is, pretty cool, actually, I have to say. Again, creating this sense of a lifestyle brand, one of the things you have to do is think about how you express that brand. You have to think about information like this. This newsletter, I think, is a great way to do that. I will look at it over later more carefully. This talks about vegetables, it talks about different techniques. Very, the graphic design is absolutely wonderful. The colors, the fonts, everything, just wonderful photography, and just, yeah, classy, super classy, I have to say. So this is pretty cool. This is something different from the last service I tried, and they even have another recipe on the back that looks pretty easy, frozen yogurt pops. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so that is the package literature. Let's delve into the package itself. This will be a little noisy. Okay, in this one, we should look at the bottom to see the ice situation. I'm assuming there's probably ice. Yeah, there are ice packs on the bottom. A little different cooler, insulated cooler. Probably could reuse this, right? If you're going to the grocery store, you could reuse this insulated bag if that was your thing. I'm looking at the ingredients. Kind of pull all these out and you can have a look here. Okay, so this is a little different, actually. So one thing with Home Chef that was different was a lot of the stuff for one recipe was packaged all together. Not a big deal, I don't think. I mean, I think anyone with half a brain, right, could figure out that this is going to go with one of our recipes we'll try here, which is the fried egg and mushroom sandwiches, this one here. So you can kind of see, and I guess you'll have to go through the box and separate the stuff, I suppose. So we shall see how that works out. More of the ingredients you can see here. Okay, so you can see everything is individually wrapped. Actually kind of funny, right? You sometimes discover this in a grocery store where people ringing up your vegetables sometimes, or fruits, maybe don't know the exact ones, but most of these you probably know, but they're all individually labeled. One of the things that is coming up, and when I try Tara's Kitchen, we'll have to see how this works, but one of the issues that I noted out there on the blogosphere and on the discussion of social media about the home delivery food services is that people are concerned about the waste involved. And that's one thing to think about, certainly, as you imagine this worldview and all the text and ideology, if you will, about protecting the environment. You do obviously have a carbon impact, right? So if that's a concern to you, I think it's something to think about. Now, of course, you could recycle all the plastic bags, take these to your local supermarket or other store that would allow you to do this. Cardboard is also recyclable. Again, you could reuse this. So we'll have to see with Tara's Kitchen, which has a sort of refrigerator that ships to you, and then you, I guess, send it back. So I'll have to let you know about that when we try it. See the mushrooms here. So far the vegetables look really fresh. If you're concerned about that, they definitely look like fresh vegetables. Everything's well packed, you see. This is for one of the pasta dishes. This is actually, I guess, for the one sandwich dish I was talking about. So we'll have to see. I think there's a garlic bread that's included with one of the recipes. We also have some individual loose vegetables here. You can see fruits, lemon, avocado, a little bit little moisture, smells fine. I was just worried about that, but I think it's just condensation from the ice packs. So seems pretty good. More veggies here. When we get into Tara's kitchen, one of the things they do is that they pre-chop it. So we'll have to see how that works out. And then Freshly, which I'll be trying, is one that everything comes ready to cook. And their big claim to fame is that you can cook everything in the micro in 3 minutes. So most of the services you've seen so far are definitely ones that require obviously chopping and cooking in a good good amount of time. And these are then the cage-free farm eggs. Let's check to see that they're not broken, right? This is always a thing to see. And okay, so we have our first issue, broken egg. Okay, so yeah, so we're down one egg. I mean, it's not a big deal, right, since I have eggs, but yeah, I mean, a little disappointing. So as far as the packing, again, in everything I present in this video overview, it's one experience, right? The data is limited to one observation, but it's always disappointing to get a broken egg. So I think what I'll do is I will contact them. It's also a little messy, and see maybe what they could offer. I don't put the egg on the counter. I don't expect them to send more eggs. It's not a big deal, but that might have been the wetness that was in here. So we'll have to see. Everything else looks okay. Let's see. Egg and mushroom. This is I guess the stuff that goes with each. Okay, so now it's making a little sense. So if you look at these, they're individually wrapped for the 3 recipes, right? And again, they say on here, keep refrigerated. I can open up one of these for you just to see what is going on here. This is the pasta and peas. They call it knickknacks. You can see that they're keeping their branding, colors, and fonts going here. It looks like some cheese and other accoutrements, ricotta cheese, some other cheese. So yeah, okay, so looks good. And then at the bottom we have something here. I'm assuming this is going to get us into our ice layer. Yep, so we got our ice on the bottom. You probably don't have to buy ice packs anymore after you do one of the home delivery food services. And you can see here that they are expressing an interest in recycling. So you can even go to their website and look at that. We'll definitely check that out. It's a good thing, right? Because obviously they're thinking about environmentally conscious consumers. So all in all, it looks pretty good. Again, we just have the one broken egg to speak of, so we'll have to look into that. But this is the unboxing experience here with Blue Apron. Okay, as far as getting into the 3 recipes themselves, the first one that I tried is whole grain pasta and peas with ricotta and mint. And you could see that a lot of these services, Blue Apron offers a very attractive and easy to read menu card. A great job just in terms of how they present the information. You can see in this case they show you the ingredients on the front, and a lot of the food services have these packaged in different ways, and you saw some of that with the unpacking video. If you flip to the back of the card, you will see there are 6 steps here. Now I will say that Blue Apron, and I'll show you some of my cooking videos in just a bit, Blue Apron, like the other services that are not like Freshly, and Freshly is the one that you just pop in the microwave, it requires a pretty good amount of work. So this particular recipe, they take you through the steps, and in a lot of cases what they tell you is to do the preparation of the ingredients. So in this case you had to first wash and dry the produce, and then work on the lemon, shell the peas, peel and roughly chop the garlic, pick the mint leaves off the stems, discard the stems, grate some of the pecorino cheese on the side of a small box grater. So that is just step 1 that has about 8 steps to it. Some of them are shorter than others. So at one point I thought of actually doing a timer on some of these food videos, but then I realized that it's going to vary from one person to the next, depending on how fast you are, depending on whether or not you're checking your Facebook updates while you're cooking the stuff, and so forth. In general, they list, I'm trying to see, yes, this one, Blue Apron lists the prep time is 10 minutes, cooking time 15 to 25. I've found with all the services, save Freshly, that this is not a very good estimate. It just takes longer. And again, maybe I'm slower than others. I do like to think of myself as a pretty decent cook and a foodie. So certainly before I did these food delivery services, I was doing a lot of cooking on my own, and I never thought necessarily about how long it would take. But I just want to mention that because I don't think you should get into one of these food service options and not consider the time. The time can be a really big issue, I think, with prepping and cooking some of these meals. Okay, and I thought I would show you some of the process of doing some of the prep and the cooking. This next video I did on the GoPro and put it on a track and tried to show you just what was involved. Time-lapse photography here. So again, as I said earlier, there's a lot of steps you have to take in any of the food delivery services, and it will take time, and I think generally you should budget an hour. About an hour I think is correct in terms of thinking about how long it will take. There's variance from one to the next. For example, with Tara's Kitchen, I'm doing a video on as well. You'll note with Tara's Kitchen, they do a lot of the chopping for you. And so that's one of the big differences. I don't think you'll note a lot of difference between, say, Home Chef and Blue Apron and some of the other ones, because they all have the same approach, even down to the packaging and to some of the ways in which the recipes are laid out. Generally with these services, the recipes will be the ingredients on the front and then the directions on the back. So I'm just showing you here some of the food preparation. It's not terribly exciting to watch, but it does give you a sense of, I think, what goes into some of these recipes. Okay, and you see a image here, not the best image, but it's the one plated image I have of this dish. Overall, I thought it had really good flavor. I have to say, personally, I'm not a big fan on wheat pasta. I tend to find that wheat pasta has a kind of a coarseness to it. It just has a very I don't know, just an unpleasant taste to me. So that's just a total preference thing. And again, I should say that with a lot of these recipes, it's really hard to compare a taste because taste is a matter of preference. The next dish that we could talk about here is the fried egg and mushroom tortines. These were really good, and actually the next two recipes you'll see are actually all three are, I just realized, are vegetarian. This one was quite good as well, and this one had a little amount of prep. I don't have any video on this one for you, but one of the things this involves is onion rings, and so you have to make a bit of a batter, and then you have to cook the onion rings in the batter in a pan. There again was a lot of chopping with the endive there. You had to pull it apart, of course. So it was very similar to a last recipe, frankly, as far as the amount of time. Again, I would say with Blue Apron, you should budget about an hour's worth of time total just to be safe. And here's a sample of what it looks like when it was plated. This one had really, I thought, outstanding flavors. It was very interesting, in a textural sense, just a lot of different textures. The herbs were great. The little endive salad on the right was excellent. It had walnuts in there. There was a taste of mustard in it. The cheeses were really good. And I will say the baguette, which is used for both of these recipes, including the next one you'll see, were excellent. These were from a New York bakery and included, you just had to toast them basically, and they were really, really impressive, better than store baguettes. So that was definitely a great discovery there. Now the last recipe I'll look at, to mention the baguette, is the spicy poblano pepper and cheese tortas. This was maybe my favorite of the week. Again, you're seeing here the two sides of the card, the ingredients, and on the back, the prep. It looks like most of these are around 6 steps or so. Have some video here of going through some of the preparation stage here, the time lapse, a lot of chopping, making the salad there, cooking onions, cooking the zucchini for the salad, preparing the baguettes, and mixing everything up, and then you have to basically push them down like with a griddle, push them down with a pan on top of your griddle. So basically you get that nice effect when you're cooking it of everything gets melted and pressed down. And just say the avocado spread in here was really good. Definitely, I would say this was my favorite of the 3 meals I had for the week. Again, prep time, cooking time, about an hour is what I found the Blue Apron recipes take. Here's a sampling of their menu. I advise you on any of my food videos, go to the website. Some of them have apps. I'm not really going to get into whether they have apps in these videos, but go to the websites. You can click on the menus. They will tell you the pricing and so forth. One of the things Blue Apron offers is a wine pairing. A lot of the companies are doing this. I think it's an opportunity to, on their end to make a little more profit, on your end maybe to pair your food with some high quality wine. Now, one of the things I think is pretty cool about Blue Apron, I would say part of their identity is their focus on sustainability, regenerative farming practices. You just see a lot of examples here from their website. And that's pretty admirable because one of the concerns I have about the food delivery services is that they do involve waste. Obviously, because you're dropping something off at someone's door, that's going to involve cardboard, it's going to involve ice packs of some sort, it's going to involve the installation, and then all the packaging that goes into whatever ingredients you have. When we get to Terrace Kitchen, you'll note that they actually try to eliminate some of that waste by giving you a mini fridge that you return free of charge, including the price of the service. The next day, you just put it on your doorstep in the morning. So it's something to think about with all these food delivery services is what is the carbon footprint, the ecological impact, and so forth.